Life is a game, life is a test, and you have to understand how to pass the test. You have to understand how to pass the game of life. Life will go on with or without you, and you have to make a decision that you're going to play to the best of your ability in order to achieve what you need to achieve in life. Life does not stop for you. Life is not curated around you. In fact, systematically, life is probably actually put against you, right? You just need to come to that conclusion and understand that this system of life was not designed for your success. If you're not a rich, wealthy, property owning person in the United States of America coming from 4 or 5 generations of wealth, then this system was not designed for your success. Now, we hear the American dream being achieved over and over again for many different people. I ask you one question: do those people look like you? And if they do, then that means that you can achieve that. But how rare is it for somebody who looks like them, who comes from their background, who has those life experiences? How rare is it for them to succeed? And when you start to look at success, you start to understand the different people who are succeeding. You start to see a pattern amongst their success because they figured out the game for them. They figured out how the system was rigged against them, and they started hopping over fences, hopping over rules, and realizing that what they need to do in order to succeed comes down to the decisions that they're making, the network that they have, the strategies that they're putting in place in order for them to succeed, and they're deciding that they're going to have the resilience and the perseverance necessary to succeed. They're coming up with a plan and they're working their plan. And what a lot of you can do in order to succeed is actually identify a blueprint from someone else and then decide that you're going to follow that blueprint to succeed. And the best of you will realize how you can curate that blueprint that other people have used and use that to curtail it for you. That's like getting an outline of an essay and saying, I'm going to use this outline to write my essay because I see that this outline is a successful outline for writing successful scholarships. Just when I break down the different type of ways that you can use a scholarship by identifying what type of scholarship student that you are you the perfect student with a 4.0 who's been amazing with all the resources that you have? So now there's a pathway that you can play with that profile in the game of life, in the game of scholarships, in the game of school, in the game of college. Or are you that resilient student who may have a 2.5 or a 2.7, but what you're doing is showing that you never quit? You've gotten better grades every single year you've been in school. You've had dips in life, you have dips in school, but you have overcome and persevered and have resilience to show that you can overcome those situations and those scenarios every single time. Or are you that student who's round in the middle? You have a 3.0, 3.5, but you're a student leader. You're involved in your community and you have decided that school, yes, is a priority, but also your community, your family, being present, working, or being a student leader is also important and also present in your life. People will chop you down and people will come for you, right? People have created a life of oppression and systematic barriers against you, but that's not going to hold you down no matter what level of student that you are, no matter what type of student profile you are, because these students are operating a different game, a different pathway within the same game. These students are operating a different pathway within the same game. And when you have to realize it, and we see that with the video with Glenn, if you just go back and watch the video with Glenn, I believe it's titled "Is College Worth It?" And he talks about the network that he built in college being the main reason it was worth it. He talks about earning scholarships, and we were in the same scholarship group. I was in it a year ahead of him, and we built our network by connecting with the students who were in that scholarship group. That's another thing that we don't talk about with scholarships that need to get highlighted. When you get to meet the other scholars, you're now expanding your network. They go off to different schools: UCLA, UC Santa Barbara, Cal State LA, San Diego State, Columbia, New York, NYU, Harvard, Oberlin College in Ohio. They're going to Emory in Atlanta. They're going to UT Austin. They're going to Mizzou. They're going to Northwestern, right? They're going to the University of Washington, Boise State, Arizona State. They're going to all these different colleges, and now you get to expand your network to all these colleges. Keep in contact with your fellow scholars who are going to different schools. When you're going to school, step outside of your peer group and go and talk to other peers who are in different places, different perspectives, and talk to them and befriend them. whether it's from a school project like Glenn was talking about, or whether it's from just being able to be outspoken and being a little extroverted and being social. And if you're not super extroverted, you're shy, you're not sure what to do. And really, honestly, introverts, you're not shy. You will talk a lot. It just might not be to 1,000 people. You might have to find two people at a time. And that's just a different pathway in the same game of life where we all need to build our networking skills. And so I don't think there's any excuse for you not to be able to say that I'm going to make it, I'm going to survive, I'm going to conquer life, I'm going to thrive. You can all conquer life. And in fact, you should conquer your academics in the same pathway. Your academics are designed to be like a banking method. When you look at Paulo Freire and the pedagogy of the oppressed, that people who only take in and receive information and just let that be deposited into their brain don't develop critical thinking skills. They don't develop resilience. They don't develop perseverance. So what you have to do is take your education to the next level and really push yourself to be able to make sure that you have a problem posed education. Here is a question. How do you break the question down? And when you break the question down, then you're able to say, okay, I understand how I'm going to approach this question with a critical mind by being able to say, I don't want things to just be put into my brain. I actually want to be able to analyze critically what's going on and make a decision based upon the information that I have present to me and maybe even my own life experiences. And that's what the real response is when it comes to scholarships and you being able to get dollars. And remember, this is lifelong skills. You can use this for grants. I'm an entrepreneur and I'm applying for grants. I'm using the same critical mind to be able to present my business to others so I can get resources to be able to help you all, honestly, one day at a much greater rate. These videos are awesome, but they required a critical mind for me to be able to analyze the fact that school and colleges are costing more and more each and every day. Schools don't have the time to really sit down with you and say, here's how you apply to college. Here's how you take advantage of college. Here are all the great opportunities that you can see with college. And in fact, here's how you can fund college, right? Like that's not something that you can just put on your PlayStation. Like that's just not readily available, right? It's not that's not the game that they're teaching you to play. Yet it's the game that you are in. Isn't that interesting? We're in an education system that is saying here are the tools that you need to be successful in the education system, but they're not necessarily giving you the skill sets that you need to say, here are the tools that you need in order to master life, which is the actual game above the game. Like the game is the game, like God of Ragnarok is like the education system. It's the specific game I'm playing. But what am I playing the game on? A PlayStation. That PlayStation is the game of life. It's the actual place where no matter the different type of games I'm playing, I can switch between the different levels on within a game as well. That's another way to take it even deeper within the realm or within the metaphor. And so what I want you to take away from this is that the game isn't designed necessarily for you to win. The game is put on hard and you have to somehow get better at being able to play the game. And the way that you can get better at playing the game is by understanding what the game truly wants you to do, where the game really wants you to go. And when you know what the game wants you to do, and you know where the game wants you to go, you have to now say, what type of player am I to maximize what it wants me to do? The scholarships want to be empowered and inspired when they're reading your essay. What would they be inspired about? What would they be inspired for? Why would they be inspired to invest in your education? They would be inspired to invest in your education because you are a 4.0 student who has done amazing since the beginning and the dawn of time. Or they will invest in you because you're a student leader whose grades are good, really good, 3.0, 3.5. And they believe in your success and they believe you are the leader of the future that we need. Or you're a student that's never given up. You're a student that's always been resilient. You're a student who has persevered through a drug infested community, addiction in your community and home, overcome having bad grades and rising back up to get good grades. Like the resilience doesn't always have to be some movie level version of despair. You're a community leader. You volunteer at your church and your local shelter. You collect food or coats for people in the winter. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right? I just need you to do more than just go to school and go home. Unless at home you're babysitting multiple siblings. Unless at home you're working another job just so you can be able to afford your prom dress. These are inspiring stories that just have the scholarship readers ready to just pour into you. Do you understand me? Better yet, do you understand you? Because you are the difference maker in your life. You are the hero you've been waiting for. I am not your savior, but I'm teaching you everything that I can possibly think of and know. I have so much more to tell you. So much more.